Hi, everyone. I'm Jody Pear.
Hi, I'm Kathy Feltz.
And we are continuing our conversation today about home as a reflection of where you are in your life. And more specifically, Kathy's going to start us off on talking about having intention for your space.
So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is we've talked a lot about when your space is cluttered, when there are too many things in your space, and how that feels, and how that kind of is inefficient and sets you up for your space not working. But also, the opposite can be true. If you have a room in your house that really is kind of empty, or the room has just seems to have no purpose to it. So that also is something to think about, and to just again, we're assessing our space all the time, looking at what's working and not working. So if there's no purpose for your space, or there's nothing in that space, if it's just kind of dead space, what can we do to fix that? So once you decide on a purpose, then that helps you. So instead of leaving a space blank or kind of a hodgepodge, really think about, how could you use that space?
Yeah.
What could it be used for? And one of the things that I've seen a lot is people who are downsizing, or maybe they're, upsizing or whatever, they're moving and they need to stage their house. And each of the rooms, the realtor will tell you, each of the rooms needs to have a purpose. It can't be a room that people don't know what it's used for, because then it becomes meaningless to the people coming in and looking at your house. And I think that Jody has a story about that.
Oh
A
my
client
gosh.
she's working
Yes.
with.
Yes, Kathy and I were talking about a client that I have who called me. He is getting ready to put his house on the market. So I went and met with him, and he took me through the house. And the very first room that we walked into from the foyer, it's like, well, I shouldn't say that it's empty, because the house is currently being painted. So all the furniture is kind of lumped together, and everything is covered in plastic. So I didn't get a real sense of the home yet, but it's kind of an unusual space. And the very first thing that I told him is like, when we get ready to, after all the painting is done, when we get ready to actually sort of stage his house, before it goes on the market, we have to have an intention for this space. We have to be able to suggest to those prospective buyers what this space is being used for,
Mhm.
or what it could be used for, so that it maybe plants a seed, and then inspires them to think of how they could use the space without seeing his things in there, and feeling, that attachment, that it's his and what he's doing, but what could they use it for, I'm sorry. um but so we want to have things in that space that suggest how it could be used. And so I think that is so important. And one of the features of his home that he thinks is a negative is he has one of those two, let's see, yeah, it's a two-sided fireplace. So this, the short side of the fireplace leads you into their like breakfast nook, and the long side is in this space that is like a living room, but it's just not really clear what that space is for. So he feels like it's a negative, that, this feature with this fireplace. For
Mhm.
me, when I walked in, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is modern farmhouse style. And he's like, what? He doesn't know what I'm talking about. But a lot of people do know, that trend. And that is it is a very appealing trend right now. And so if we can run with that, and kind of suggest that somebody could take the house, the next owners could take the house in that direction,
Right.
I do believe that that house is going to sell very quickly. So it was fun. He really loved that idea. And even though he doesn't know what it means, it just kind of gave him some hope that, his house will sell first, not first, but will sell very quickly. We hope.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And even if you're not moving, you can change up your rooms and have them have a new purpose. So think about when the kids get older and they move out and all of a sudden you have an empty bedroom. Well, you
Mhm.
don't want to leave it as a bedroom if you don't need a guest room. You want to use that space for something. So you make it into a craft room or a reading room or a meditation room or an exercise room. So again, having that purpose and realizing you can be flexible in
Mhm.
your space, and you can switch up your rooms so that they reflect, again, what's going on in your life currently and how you need to use your space currently.
Yes.
So fun
Oh,
stuff.
there is an idea that I have played with in my mind for several years, and I've decided against it. But there, our guest room. Um, I'm happy to have the bedroom in there. We don't have a lot of guests that are sleeping here. But part of me, we have very small closets, and part of me has wanted to get wardrobe units
Yep.
and put them in the guest bedroom so that it would be, I mean, not a closet, but a dressing room. Like what, how else could we use that space? So it's just a thought that I have played with myself, and I haven't followed through on that yet. And I'm perfectly happy now leaving it as a guest room. But it's fun to think about what you could do differently so that you use all of your house, all the spaces. We want room to grow, so grow, use it.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you get creative in your space, I think that trickles into other areas in your life,
Mhm. Yes.
and other things open up for you and more creativity flows in. So it's just a win-win all the way around.
Yes. All right. Great conversation, Kathy. Thank you. And thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you next time.
Okay, good to talk to you, Jody. Bye, everybody.
Bye.